I am a pirate.
You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything.
It's a pirate's life for me.
Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. When you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You live with Omaha? I can promise you that. And a crumple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome in to the Pirate Football Playback as the Pirates get a big win in Conway. It's all because Kyle Barber went there 38-0 in Conway. And Kyle from LaGrange Barber, man, you got the shutout the first time since 2000 on the road. Against Duke was the last time that we beat an opponent and shut them out and on the road. And here we are tonight in 2-1. A great feeling. And how you doing, man? Tired? I take it being back from Conway.
Well, not really tired now. I was tired last night. But it was a great trip. Lot to take away. We'll get into the game itself and talk about the game day operations and some things that I think we could take from them on game day operations. A lot of things, actually. They didn't do everything better than we did, but they did a lot better than we did, which that should not be said, but it's truth. But good trip. Just so everybody knows that's listening, if you expect to see former ECU linebacker Matt Semenza, Matt is flying tonight. He was in South Carolina this weekend. Didn't get a chance to go to our game. His daughter is a student at the University of South Carolina. He went to South Carolina Vandy, and he is flying back to Connecticut tonight. So no Matt Semenza tonight. But you get me, and you get the head coach of Northeast Academy, Stevie Fly. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. How's everybody doing out there? I was the only one that didn't make the trip to South Carolina, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't go, and Johnny didn't go. So Kyle, I think, was the only representative in Conway. Because Johnny and I boycotted the game. Right, Johnny? Johnny Robertson?
Did we lose Kyle?
Yeah, we did boycott the game, Dave.
Yeah, I watched it at home, and maybe that's why they won so big. Kyle got the W. We couldn't get the regional in June, but
I don't know what you guys experienced at the regional. That you guys have left a bad taste in your mouth from the fans of Coastal. I wasn't there. Obviously, a much smaller fan base for baseball, but much more passionate. There was no trash talk, nothing. Nobody. I mean, literally, I've gotten in way more altercations at ECU games than I even came close to last night. So, I'm sorry you guys had a bad experience that left a bad taste in your mouth at the baseball game down there, because the experience at the football game last night was great. Obviously, the results is what you wanted, 38-0, but just the people, everything. And like I said, we'll get into the game day operations in a minute.
Well, let me just say this, guys. Starting off, we'll talk about the game in a minute. But we were talking about in our Signal chat there, Kyle and Johnny, that broadcast was the worst broadcast of any ECU game on ESPN Plus I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was god awful. And I tell you what, I first thought it was Kyle's, about the turf. No. That's what I thought it was first about, is that
the video quality.
But the video quality sucked. It was horrible.
It couldn't have been worse than the first game at ODU.
No,
I can't imagine it being much worse.
I don't think it was that bad, but the problem was it was like somebody said in our group chat, 90s home video.
Yes, it was.
It was not, like, how like with our broadcast, how everything looks similar to like you're actually seeing an ESPN product. Well, this was so bad that it was like it would play tricks on my eyes. It was like focused and it was not in focus. It was.
Are you sure it wasn't the turf, Dave, messing with you?
I think it was. I think I'm glad that I had problems with the turf and not the players. But
that home field advantage with that turf.
Yeah, they had a lot of problems with the turf last night.
I actually talked to Ty Holmes about that. Former CU linebacker, played in the NFL for a little bit, played in the CFL. Played in the CFL actually from 2013 through 2020. Played in the NFL in 2012 for the Vikings. Currently works for the State Bureau of Investigation, so watch yourself, Dave. But
Okay.
I asked him about that turf, and he said that in his opinion, he in his playing days, he said playing under any kind of weird colored turf at night under the lights, he said did bother him, and he said he thinks it could have been an issue. He said your eyes will adjust to it. He said, but playing on it at night under those lights, he agreed with me. So I guess to each their own. Maybe that's why we struggled in the first half on offense. You didn't think about that, did you?
Hey, and by the way, Craig says the whole production sucked. Camera angles, turf color, announcers, every aspect was awful. And Robert says TV commentators, straight homers. They didn't even have the Kyle. Those of us that watched at home, they didn't even have the yellow marker we've got used for the first down marker on the screen that Fox invented back in the 90s. I'm sorry, that did it. So it's just frustrating that it makes you appreciate Greg and all the guys at the production, TV production. They've got so many students and folks, and they're still like Matt said last week, there's so many camera angles we've added, and we keep upping our production. And if that's what the Sun Belt is all about, please, for God's sakes, please never go to the Sun Belt, because
you mean Conference USA,
or that too. Whoever has but those graphics and everything, it was an absolute nightmare. But the most important thing is we won the football game. And by
the way, I want to hold on, Dave. That's an inside joke. Obviously, I know Coastal's in this. I know before our listeners, I don't want anybody to think I'm. Obviously, I know Coastal's in the Sun Belt.
I just got that. So anyway, we need to let's move on to the game. Tell the two halves. We started out slow. I want to get you guys. We can go around and just. I guess the first thing is go around and get your overall thoughts.
Yeah, I'll start. First half, we're going to do half at a time or the whole game?
Let's do the whole game, and then we'll break it down.
Defense played great the whole game. Obviously, from start to finish, defense played fantastic. Created opportunities. Offense did not take advantage of those opportunities in the first half. Special teams, the whole game was atrocious. Do not know what our problem was with special teams, from the block field goal to, there was a kickoff out of bounds to start the second half. Just bad special teams last night. Second half, defense kept playing. The whole game, the defense was phenomenal, and part of that's Coastal's offense is bad, but defense did what they were supposed to against a bad offense. Finally, second half, obviously everybody was watching the game. We took advantage of opportunities that were there. Scored. Anthony Smith had a great night at receiver. In terms of receptions, I think that was his most productive night. Got the running game going late, and put it away. Mike Wright was very effective when he came in the game. When you're up 24-0 and you pull your starter and putting your backup, and that score's not even that out of hand. But it just felt like at 24-0, it felt like it was 50-0. That's how bad Coastal's offense was. But overall, I thought the defensive performance A+. Offense, I'd give a B- if we're giving letter grades, and special teams, I'm going to give an F. But when you can give special teams an F and come away with a 38-0 victory, that's pretty salty. But defense carried that game, won that game, and we did. And I didn't think Caden Hauser had his best game, and I was talking to Stevie about this earlier. If that's Caden, if that's Caden's worst game of the year, then we're doing pretty good.
Yep.
Because even not having his best game, he threw a pick. He still threw for 290 yards. But I was glad to see us get the running game going late. Their defense was clearly worn down. I don't think their defense is bad at all, and I really like their defensive coordinator at Coastal. I liked him at Louisiana Tech. That's where he was before he was there. But their defense is on the field so damn long they get worn out. That happened to them at UVA also. But I'm still concerned about our running game quite a bit. Lacey, who has provided a spark for us off the bench, late in games here recently, you'd think you'd get to see him more. He injured himself celebrating on the sidelines somehow. I don't know how serious it is. I heard he was on crutches. I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing at just laughing at the situation. Not that it's funny, but how the hell do you injure yourself that bad celebrating? But overall, very happy overall with the performance, particularly on defense.
No doubt. Let's go to
JR?
Stevie or whichever
Yeah,
one.
like you said, a tale of two halves. One of the things that was bothering me the first half is, and I know Kyle said it too in the text, can't let these guys keep hanging around. And that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Our offense left a lot on the field the first half. It could have been, like me and Kyle talked about earlier, could have been 20-0. Should have been 20-0. And when you let a team like that hang around, you're playing with fire. Luckily, the defense really stepped up, made some big plays, some interceptions. That long pass that could have made it 10-7 or could have set up 10-7, call back for a holding call.
Right.
But for one thing, as much as we were worried about this defense in the offseason, I think this defense, it may not be an elite defense, but it's a really good defense. We're getting after the ball. And I hope I don't jinx it, but that's one thing I'm not really worried about now is the defense making stops. Ever since after the first quarter of the state game, the defense has been lights out. You give up 3 points in the last two games. Granted, it was against Campbell and Coastal Carolina, but still, how many years in the past have we give up a lot more points to bad teams that we should have shut down? Just to piggyback off what Kyle said, Hauser, if that's his worst game, then we're going to be fine. I mean, almost gets his 300 yards and Wright. I mean, gosh, no. So how can we get Wright more involved in this offense? Whether it's at a receiver or a running back or something different. I don't know if they have. I don't know if we've seen everything in this playbook as far as when it comes to Wright getting in the game. I think they may be holding something back because maybe BYU will see it this week. But all in all, I just think it was a really good game. We did have some of these people out there saying you guys get excited about a win over a team like Coastal Carolina. But we're beating the teams we're supposed to beat, and we're beating them bad. That's something in years past we've had a problem with. But we're taking care of business. We're doing what we got to do right now.
No doubt. Johnny, what did you think of overall?
Well, the first half, I was definitely nervous. Just because, like Stevie said, I just kept getting the feeling, hey, we're dominating them, but we're not out of the danger zone yet. And if we keep giving them chances, they're going to cash in. And that touchdown that was called back, they had 3 long plays that were nullified by penalties. Now that's their fault. They committed the penalties. So maybe that's why, the long plays developed in the first place, but we were just, fortunate.
Well, the one where he literally threw the DB down, that was, I guarantee you that was caused by them.
Yeah, absolutely. But our defense was outstanding. We had 23 different players make a tackle. I'm not sure if that's a season high or not, but I think it is. We had, Jamarley with that interception and then a return. We had several pass breakups. Even the defensive lineman got into the, defending the pass and batting balls down. I know J.D. Lampley had one. Julian Davis had one. It just the defense looked fast, and they looked like they were pursuing the ball very well. And that hit by Tamir Brown, oh my
Oh
goodness,
gosh, yeah.
that was the hit of the year so far. I mean, that was something like you would expect Tegan Wilk to bring, but Tamir, that was an awesome open field tackle. As far as offense goes, yeah, Caden Hauser was just, he was a good college quarterback Saturday night, but we're used to him being a great college quarterback. And even Caden at good instead of great, you can't complain too much. I mean, the pick he threw, I bet he wishes he did that back, because that was like he didn't have anything on that throw, and there was really no need to throw it. But I'm not going to criticize him. He went 117 passes without an interception, so I'll give him a break there. But it's too bad, because I wanted that streak to stay alive, and I wanted the 300 yards of passing streak to stay alive. But they yanked him. He had 283. And that was the right thing to do. There was no need to have him in that game. And I love what we saw, like you all did with Mike Wright. And what's that, Dave?
And they had Jeter at the very end also, which I was happy to see.
Yeah. That kid, he's been here. He's done his part. He's worked very hard. I hear nothing but good things about him. It's great to see him get an opportunity in there. So yeah, I enjoyed that as well. As far as the block kick goes, in our preview, our season preview, we discussed Mr. Mozzie's his habit of having kicks blocked. He had 4 blocked before he got here, and that one, I mean, when you kick a field goal from less than 30 yards and it's too low and it gets blocked, that's hard to figure how that happens. So I'm sure they'll be checking it out.
You said you saw something on that. Stevie said
Matt,
earlier.
Matt was talking about it. Matt was talking about it in
the.
the.
Okay.
Matt
was talking about it. About how the holder was not lined up. Yeah, he wasn't lined up right behind.
And the holder was
center
between the hashes.
Yeah. So.
But he still got the kick away. And it was just low.
Yeah, but operation procedure will screw you up altogether in a kicking situation like that. If the snapper's not lined up right, the holder, I mean, if something's off like that, it can screw up the whole.
But why wouldn't call a timeout then?
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Especially in the first half. Yeah, call a timeout.
I mean, that trajectory.
Yeah.
When you're kicking a kick that close, the trajectory should not be coming that low. I mean, there's no. That is extremely odd for a kick to get blocked that close. Special teams was just atrocious last night. I don't kick a ball out of bounds. I mean, I don't know what was going on. Special teams have been good up to this point, and I think we'll get them fixed. I'm not worried about it, but it was and thank God. I'll tell you what, you don't take advantage of scoring opportunities. You make special teams mistakes, it's going to get you beat against a good team. So the fact that we were able to not take advantage of opportunities, we were able to make those special teams mistakes and still come away with a dominating win, I think speaks to 2 things. One, we're a pretty good football team, and 2, Coastal might have one of the worst offenses in the history of FBS college football.
It's both.
Yeah, it is both.
You guys have made a great point, though, and that is, look at 21 we were talking about last week with Charleston Southern. We struggled against them. We lost in 17 to James Madison, 18 to North Carolina A&T. So we've lost, games we shouldn't have lost. I know we win games we should not win. But the main thing is, like you guys are saying, we're taking care of business. We're 2-1. That state game is going to hurt probably even more, because we easily could be 3-0 right now. But guys, also something I just saw, breaking news. Maybe you guys already knew this before I did, but I didn't realize that BYU is not in the top 25 anymore.
Yeah, they're number 26.
They fell out kind of based on expectations because of when they lost that quarterback for that's a whole nother story. He's at
Retzloff.
Tulane now. Yeah, Retzloff. He's at Tulane now. He was accused of rape, and then the girl said, "Never mind," and he had already been kicked off the team, and
Yeah.
so he ended up at Tulane. So that kind of dampened their preseason expectations. They were starting a freshman, so they didn't fall out due to any fault of their own.
Right.
They're 2-0. They've done what they're supposed to do. It was just, I think, based on expectations, and they haven't played. They played Portland State, who's a horrible FCS team. They played Stanford, who looked horrible up until this week, and they had a nice win over Boston College. So I think that's more to do with just how the perception of them in the season versus to what they've done to date. It's not any fault of their own, but top 25 or not top 25. BYU was a 12-win team last year from the Big 12, and we'll get into BYU more later in the show and on Wednesday. But this is a big time opportunity, a big time opponent, and if we somehow pull that off next Saturday night, it will be the biggest win in Greenville
In a long time.
since 2016 against NC State. In terms of non-conference games, there was some big conference wins over Memphis and UCF, Holton senior season. But, in terms of what it would mean because we were bad in 16, but in terms of what beating BYU would mean for this program and this season, good God, I don't know that you can measure it. I think this is a big if, and it's a lot of ifs and buts and fruits and nuts. But if we somehow pull that off next Saturday night, probably, by the way, primetime ESPN2, which is also big time on a Saturday night, it would be a special moment. I think a watershed moment for this program. It would be a second signature win over Blake Harrell. It would be 2 wins over Power 4 schools in back-to-back seasons, going back to the bowl game last year. And it would be an opportunity and a moment for these students. You got seniors, juniors who have been here. It would be an opportunity for them to experience something they haven't got to experience, a moment like that in Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. You got Pirate fans who have been around for a few years who haven't experienced a moment like that in Dowdy-Ficklen. So a lot of time between now and next Saturday, a lot of time to talk about it. We need to focus on this Coastal game more, but the line opened at 9.5. It is already down to 6.5 at some places. So there's early money's going on the Pirates, which is actually scaring me a little bit. I don't want BYU to take us too seriously, not little old East Carolina, but opportunity next weekend to really, kind of join. Army beat Kansas State, USF beat Boise, and beat Florida. This is an North Texas. Washington State's not what they used to be. They're not even in a power conference anymore. But nice win by North Texas over Washington State. This is our chance to do something special this coming up weekend. And I don't want to get too far off of the Coastal game, but just thinking out loud. And I don't even know how I got on this tangent, but it's a special opportunity next weekend.
Hey, before we go, Robert Diedrich he brought up I hope I said your name right, Robert. What did you guys think about that fake punt where they came out, going to punt, and then they run the offense back onto the field? It didn't really, I guess it didn't make much sense to me, because when they sub like that, you're not going to catch them off guard, because if you're subbing back in, you got to give Coastal time to sub back in too, right? Isn't that what happened? Why they couldn't get anything off quick?
You
remember
do,
that, Kyle?
Yes, you do. But at a point, the referee can't hold the ball. The referee
sure
can't
did
allow
it.
them. Yeah, what he's not supposed to. He can't allow them extra time to sub. There's a time, and I don't know, what is on the rule books, but there's a certain amount of time that they're allowed to sub personnel in if you sub personnel in. And I think what Coach got mad about was the ref holding the ball.
Yeah,
But
I saw him on the sidelines having a few words.
yeah, so I didn't particularly like what we did there. I don't know. Again, that's another because I know that is that a special teams mistake. I don't know. I didn't. I don't know what to think of that situation. No, I know what we were trying to do. but it didn't work. And I do understand why Blake was a little irritated with the officials.
Yeah, when you have a situation where that whole thing, that whole substitution thing, has got to be addressed. It happened in the Illinois Duke game last week. It didn't affect the outcome of the game, but the announcers were talking about it, and I agree that that's the new defensive strategy is, the very thing is running a whole bunch of guys on the field. And I know what they're doing, but at the same time, you can't, like you said, Kyle, you can't have it where literally you're substituting so many guys and you're wasting time, and they're just doing it to slow down the offense. So for me personally, the competition committee, they've got to take a real look at that, because I really am impressed by our offense, and we're going to be talking about other games towards the end of the show, and the American and around the nation. But I would just say this: Tennessee is snapping the ball every 21 seconds. So my thing is, instead of doing that, the substitution thing, my thing is get used to, making the substitutions when you have a couple plays ahead. Now you have guys. You have of course, the last few years you've had a mic in the helmet for the linebackers. So it just, for me personally, I just don't like that. I think that it's a bad thing, especially it helps the defense, and I don't think it should help the defense when they're doing that to control the game. And that's just my opinion, but I hope that they will.
Well, you got to allow defense time to match the offensive subs, but not to the point of holding up the game. That's where it becomes an issue. When it's intentionally
Right.
looks like they're doing it to hold up the game, they're subbing slow. That's when it becomes an issue. So, but another thing last night's game, and that I didn't like that Coastal did from a production standpoint, and something that the NCAA should ban. They should ban this immediately. When we were kicking field goals and extra points towards Coastal's scoreboard, they had a blinding white light
Oh yeah.
on the screen, and I do, and I wonder if that had anything, because that was his first kick at that end, that field goal that was blocked, and I really wondered if that had anything to do with it. But that is something that the NCAA should not allow. I don't know how many other schools do that. If they're going to allow it, we need to start doing it. But I'll tell you something else. Their scoreboard is lower than ours, so it is literally right in your face if you're kicking a field goal. So I don't think that should be allowed. And like I said, if they're going to allow it, we need to start doing it.
No question, guys. I'll tell you what, I'm glad you brought that up, Kyle. I was upset about that last night of the game, and I feel like that. And this sounds arrogant, and I'm sorry if it sounds arrogant, but that kind of stuff is why we shouldn't play Coastal Carolina. I'm not saying I don't want to play Coastal Carolina, but that
somebody needs to mute their mic. There's some bad audio interference.
Yeah, my mic's muted.
It sounds like somebody's doing laundry with a dryer, but
running a lawnmower.
But anyway, thank you, Kyle. I'm glad that my hearing is not as good as what it should be. But anyway, but yeah, you're right, Kyle. That was something that I saw last night, and I failed to mention, and I forgot until you just brought it up.
I don't blame Coastal for it at all. I blame the NCAA rule committee. If there's a rule, look, if you can do something to give yourself an advantage, you should take advantage of it. That's what I said. If they're going to allow it, we should do it. I don't think it should be allowed. But what you said, we shouldn't play Coastal, I disagree. I think it's a great home and home. I think they, up until this year, have had a good program, 5 straight bowl games. It's a regional game, close travel proximity. I don't know why in the world we wouldn't play them.
Well, I was thinking about that was supposed to be Boise. So,
it doesn't have to be either or.
Which would you rather play, Boise or Coastal?
It doesn't have to be either or. Why do I have to choose?
I'm just saying, I know I want to play both of them, but if I have a choice, I'll take Boise every day of the week.
Yeah, well, that was his decision not to play Boise, and he replaced them with Coastal. But there was room to schedule them both. So I think you're still hung up on whatever happened at the regional. You got a bias towards them.
I think we're lowering ourselves. I think that we're much better than that, and
that's what NC State says when they play us.
I realize that. I'm just saying that we need to be striving to go up, not to go like sideways or level or down. That's just the way I feel. I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with the win, but again,
UVA played there last year, Dave.
I know they did, but that doesn't mean we have to.
Okay, we're too good to play at Coastal.
Myrtle Beach is a great destination. Okay, so you great, have that, great. I do the baseball series makes perfect sense because they're very good at baseball. They obviously beat us, but they're very good at baseball, and they've won a national championship. But last night we could have we could have scored another touchdown with the last few minutes, and we have Blake Harrell that took a knee instead of putting up another 7 points.
Did anybody notice that? Okay, so there was 1 minute left in the game, and we're clearly not trying to score. We're taking a knee, and at one point it was like 3rd and 10 or whatever it was. They played their third down music, They.
I mean,
it worked. We lost the yard.
JR, to be fair, how many times have you seen the dumbasses at Dowdy Ficklin play "Welcome to the Jungle"? It's the no quarter when we're getting blown out.
I have an issue. Dave knows about this. Basketball, when we come out with the no quarter flag, when we're getting spanked by 25 points, it's embarrassing. And I went to the cheer coach and asked her, why do you do that when we're down 25 points? She said, I have to. I'm contractually obligated to do that.
It's horrible. When you're getting blown out in the fourth quarter and they play the no quarter stuff, we experienced it under Mike Houston in 23. We experienced it under Scotty Montgomery. It's embarrassing. So I'm not going to knock anybody for playing their third down song when we do that goofy crap. It was what it was. But so let's talk about, and other people that were there will agree, the things that Coastal did really well that we need to implement. And there were several of them. They're extremely fan friendly. The whole concession thing, I don't know how they do that. I'd really like to get confirmation and just have a conversation with someone at Coastal on how they're able to do that. I don't know. Jessica downloaded the Coastal app because you had to have the app on your phone to take advantage of the free concessions. I asked her, were there a bunch of in-app, ads? She said not that she noticed. I don't know how they do that, but that was great. You literally walked up there, showed them the app, went through the line, and got whatever you wanted. And they said it was a limit 4 items per person, and I don't even really think they were enforcing that. So that was incredible. And I wish we would do something like that. Maybe offer a voucher for, maybe $100 extra for season tickets, and you have unlimited access to that one concession stand. Maybe limited season ticket holders with $100 voucher yearly. I mean, it would totally be worth it. I wish we would look into doing something like that. Something else I thought they did really well was pretty much every parking lot, unless it was, right at the stadium, had shuttle service running to it. So at the end of that game at 11-something last night, you just walked out to the stadium, hopped on the bus, and they took you to the parking lot. Again, that's something I think we should look into. Parking at Dowdy Ficklin gets very spread out. I'd love to see us do something like that. Something else they did that I really liked, I think lots of times at Dowdy Ficklin, the music isn't loud enough, and their speakers were blaring, extremely loud. Now, I don't want the constant music that they played in between plays where they never let their band play. I don't want that. I don't need it to be Club Dowdy Ficklin. But I do like how loud the music was. Also, their entrance. Our entrance is good. Their entrance is incredible. I'm just being honest with the fireworks. Look, we don't need motorcycles coming onto the field. I get that. That's a Myrtle Beach thing. But with the fireworks, and what I really liked about their entrance is they shot inside the tunnel and showed their head coach and the team from inside the tunnel up on the scoreboard before they ran out, and the fireworks with the entrance. So there's quite a few things. And the biggest thing I want to mention that we need to take away from them is on third down, they played for Who the Bell Tolls, and it was blaring. It wasn't some goofy music that didn't make any sense. It fit for third down, and it was blaring. And so from those aspects of game day operation, we need to learn from them. What we do way better. I've never appreciated Morgan Ayler's more than I did last night. Their PA announcer is freaking horrible. Horrible. Also, their scoreboard operator sucks. He couldn't get a replay up in time to save his life, or he'd be playing a replay over the next play. So we do those two things much better than them. But those are some things I think that they did really well, and that we could take from them and implement into our game day atmosphere.
Yeah, I would like to see I agree with you, Kyle. The fireworks, any kind of pyrotechnics, our lighting. We need to work on our lighting as far as whenever we have different times.
The LED lighting, the strobing, and stuff like that. Yeah. That's something else.
Kind of like the trend now. The basically what it comes down to, guys, is that it's not. I'm preaching to the choir because everybody on the show and people watching, but we need to find a way. Those fans that used to come, I have people that I know that they say, Dave, I can watch the game, and they're big time Pirate people, but they choose to watch it on a big screen at home for the comfort of their home because they have internet, they have the big screen TV, they have their steps away from their kitchen, the bathroom, the whole thing. So that's one thing that we have to be careful of, is make sure that the game day experience, even though that I think our game day experience is good, we can always be better. If you're not growing, you're dying. And
I'm going to be honest with you. I think the game day experience is good at East Carolina for a couple of reasons. One, because of us, because of the fans. I think.
What in the world?
What in the world?
Johnny, did you break a plate?
What in the world is going on? I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Stevie's under the weather, so Stevie, we hope you feel better, brother. Get some rest. He's going to
Stevie leaving?
Yeah, he's leaving. So sorry, Stevie. Hope you feel better, brother.
Stevie, you're gone, man?
Yeah, check the private chat, Kyle.
Okay. I got my screen.
Yeah, guys, I'm gone. I'm under the weather a little bit, so I'm sorry about that.
Stevie,
that wasn't me with the car crash though.
I don't know what that was. It sounded like it's like breaking plates. Were you breaking plates, Gary?
That was me. I confess.
Okay.
I tell you what, we didn't have JR and your sound effects. Your sound effects are better than anybody else in the country. I'll put it up there, and then your stats are second to none, also. But Stevie, brother, hope you feel better, man. We know that how that feels.
Yeah, get some rest, Stevie.
Feel better, Stevie.
But no, what I was saying is, Lord, what was I saying? I'm totally off track. This show is just on fire tonight. But no, what I was saying is the reason we have a good game day atmosphere is because of our fan base. Our fans make our game day atmosphere. Also, some of our traditions, first down Pirates, the no quarter flag. I like our video production, but there's a lot of things that have gone downhill, I think, recently at Dowdy Ficklin, like third down music. It's just ridiculous that we can't get the third down. I mean, I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be last week. It was just little samples of music being played on third down after the foghorn. So that's got to be fixed. I mean,
I would rather just go back.
Come on, guys.
I'd rather go back to the horn or something than.
Let's use the Undertaker music with the ARG that we used from several years ago. I mean, do from who the bell tolls. Just steal it from Coastal. They stole it from Rutgers. I mean, there's a ton of different stuff. Anything would be better than what we did last week.
That was the most. Am I wrong? Wasn't it the most random? Like
it made no sense. It was just like they could have. You might as well just play Conway Twitty on third down. It literally made no sense at all. The shit they played. But
hello, darling.
Exactly. Nice to see you. There's a lot of things we need to do to modernize the game day experience at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. And again, I would say take notes from last night. I really believe that's their AD, and what I understand, that was one of their AD's primary objections is to make their game day atmosphere very fan friendly, and they've succeeded.
And Johnny, you know what I'm happy about?
Tell me, Dave.
Is the fact that our team is playing so well that Kyle is talking about third down music instead of "we can't freaking tackle, we can't tackle anybody, come on." So
no, we can definitely tackle.
I know.
While we're griping, though, while we're doing gripes about game time experience, is there a reason why we cut Purple Haze right when it's about to get like really intense?
God, and then go playing the damn fight song.
Yeah, but I mean, you're getting us all hyped up, and then right when it's about to hit the crescendo, silence.
No, let's do this. Let's do this, Johnny. Let's stand in the tunnel and sway back and forth while Purple Haze plays the whole damn time, and then run out on the field once they start playing the fight song. No, I don't. That's something else they need to get right.
Yeah.
Play Purple Haze the whole damn time. Then once all the players are out on the field after you played the whole damn thing of Purple Haze, not the whole song, obviously, but you know what I'm talking about.
But at least that first,
yes, Purple Haze, all that. Then play the fight song. Yeah, that's another thing. You're right and it didn't used to be that way.
No, I think.
Let's bring back the old the old cardboard whatever the boat was made out of that was skip. You guys remember that?
Yeah. For me personally, I think what it comes down to is we need to find a way. It comes down to the word consistency, the consistency of the third down song. Here's the deal. If you're a DJ, okay, and I was a DJ, obviously 5 years in a club, and I do mobile work still, the objective is to make sure it's like one continuous song, right? So when you have people like Kyle who is thinking, if that means that things are not right, meaning that there's other people out there that noticed it, right? So if things are going very, very well within that department, that means that, like for example, the living on a prayer, there's different traditions that we have, and we have it. And so there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have things that are kind of like a curveball and it gets.
Well, you know what, Dave, I like the point you're making, but it's more than just that. If you're going to play something different on third down, which I agree with you, it should be the same song every time. But if you're going to at least make the damn songs fit for third down. And we'll get off the subject, but I'll make it simple for the administration. We already have a song we use for no quarter. Welcome to the Jungle. Okay? Just use the opening guitar riffs from Welcome to the Jungle that everybody knows how it starts. Use that on third down. It's already a song we use. It's already part of our culture and who we are. Use that on third down. I mean, game day production and promotions is something that I really have a fascination with, probably more than the average person.
Kenneth says they should be playing Kyle screaming, "Let's go freaking Pirates!" on third down.
I'll get them fired up. Give me a mic. I'll do it live.
And you were talking.
And look, here's the thing. I've heard people say, like with last year's song, the 10 toes in when we're standing on business, that the players wanted that. The song's not to get the players fired up. The song's to get the fans fired up, and then we're supposed to get the players fired up. The song is to get the crowd up and to get loud. The song's to get the crowd fired up, and then the crowd is supposed to get the players fired up.
That is correct. And again, I'm happy that you're upset about music and not the play of
absolutely. Yeah, no, if we couldn't score a touchdown to save our lives or stop anybody, this wouldn't be a topic of conversation. But since we're playing well, I think it's a good topic that needs to be discussed. And, in 2025, as you mentioned, people have the opportunity to stay home and watch it on their big screen TV and have their Wi-Fi and their whatever else they want at the house and don't want to come out to the stadium. So you need to make the game day atmosphere and the environment as fan-friendly as possible. And a can't miss opportunity. Now, I don't think it'll be a problem this week. We'll have, I hear Ryan Robinson. Did you hear the lofty goals? He said on the radio the other day that he thought we could have 45,000 people for BYU because it's family weekend. I mean, why is our administration so scared to challenge us? Why isn't our administration saying, by God, we're playing BYU on family weekend? Now we just shut out Coastal Carolina Now, granted, this was before the Coastal game. Why aren't we saying our goal is to sell this game out? 45,000. Well, Ryan, my God, don't give us such lofty expectations. 45,000 for BYU. He thinks we can do that. Pirate Nation, I think you can do better. I think we can sell this son of a bitch out.
And exactly when it's ESPN2, and you
Saturday
have
night prime
Saturday
time.
night game. This is what I told Alan, and Alan told me it was okay, by the way, after the fact, because we had a proper conversation in the press box. What else are you doing on Saturday night? Please tell me what you call yourself a Pirate fan. And we know there's weddings and different things where you can't go. We've all been there. High school reunions, I had to leave a game in the third quarter. I get all that. But I'm talking about people that say they're Pirate fans and they love the game day atmosphere. They want to be there. Well, then get them there. And the other thing is, if we have 1,000, let's say that we have, Kyle, let's say we fall a little short. We're 48,000. Give those tickets to churches and civic groups and boys and girls.
Well, here's what I would say to that one, Dave. If we sell 48,000 tickets, by Friday, you don't think there'll be a big walk up in 2025, but you never know. So I don't know about giving the last 2,000 seats away because of walk up potential. But hell, if it's 48,000, let's just call it a sellout. It's close enough. But I hated to hear that Ryan Robinson said he thought we could have 45,000 people for the BYU game. How about let's say we're going to sell this out and let's push having a sellout. If the administration ain't going to do it, we'll do it. I'll start it now on the Sports Executive
challenge.
page. Yeah, let's sell this game out. We just shut out Coastal Carolina, the team to have gone the 5 straight bowl games. It's our first road shutout in 25 years. So I challenge our fans with BYU coming to town to sell this thing out. So
we got to do that. Johnny, when we've got guys like Johnny Robertson that have a house right close to the stadium. They're that huge of fans from Haymarket, Virginia. He's not making excuses. We have Bubba Rosenbaum, who's was on our show for many years. His family travels several hours away. We got people that are very close. We got people in Greenville that will watch it at a bar instead of coming there. I don't know.
Look, we got douchebags that go to the games just to tailgate and don't go inside.
Yeah,
I know several people that do that, Kyle. They never go. They have tickets too.
You tell them Kyle from LaGrange says they're douchebags.
Yeah, but we have.
Speaking of Bubba, he has a perfect attendance record so far. He's been to all 3 games. So,
all right.
There you go, Bubba. Congratulations.
Yeah, but don't you think that? And another thing is that we're trying to elevate this program to where we know it should be, and it should be a P-power school. We are that. And when you don't show up for big games, and I hope that I'm wrong, and that we are sold out, let's sell it out. 1-800-ECU, ECUPirates.com. Let's make the people at the ticket office work really hard. AJ and everybody over there, they're great people, and I appreciate all that they do. But let's make them work hard and sell out several thousand seats. It's not hard. And I'm actually giving my tickets to, getting my friends and family and different people to sit in my seats. I sit in the press box because I want more people there. Let's get more people there. Let's get loud. Let's get rowdy. And that's what it's all about. Again, we understand when people like Matt, poor Matt, he had to go to the South Carolina game yesterday, Parents Weekend, fly back. He can't make it to the BYU game. We understand that. We're not talking about those folks or a wedding or, God forbid, a funeral, anything like that. We understand big life things happen. But when it comes to every ordinary Pirate Day situation, come to the stadium.
I have an observation.
Go ahead. Go for it.
If every fan that complains on message boards about our schedule or about why we're not, we're never going to get to a bigger conference, our schedule sucks. Well, we have BYU coming in here. So we did our part. They did their part. Now show up or quit talking nonsense.
Yeah,
that's
by the
my
way,
opinion.
Jay says, absolutely, Kyle, 51,000 are bust. So thank you, Jay, for that.
Yeah.
And Kenneth says our stadium sold out would be in the upper tier of the Big 12. We need to act and look like we belong. Exactly, Kenneth. And that's Emmanuel is asking, how many tickets do we have left? I'm not sure, Emmanuel, but I will tell you that I will say this, Kyle. We've gotten safe on, and then we'll move on. We've gotten safe on 38,000 to 43,000. Like that's like our comfort zone. Let's challenge Pirate Nation. Kyle is right. Let's challenge Pirate Nation. Let's get out there. Let's buy tickets. And I know Johnny, you guys in our group, they're guys.
And are we working with them?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, are we working with the Mormon churches this time? I know when they were here, when they had their worst team in history back in 2017, there was a lot of, I think, interworking with some of the Mormon churches for this game to get tickets or maybe BYU did it themselves. I just heard more of that talk, and we are just now getting into the game week. But how many? What am I trying to say? Are we making sure we're getting their fans there? Their fans, not meaning people from Provo, Utah, but people with the with the LDS churches.
Yeah, and they are a national brand because of that. I think I want to say that game didn't have like in 2017 didn't they have like 6,000 or 7,000? It was more than the usual.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I know there was,
but it was more than the usual crowd we had.
Yeah, no, they brought. There's several Mormon churches. Not only in the Raleigh-Cary area, there's a big Mormon church in Kinston, of all places. There's a Mormon church in Greenville. So you have people of the LDS faith on the eastern half of North Carolina, and not only do Pirate fans need to get there, we need to make sure that those folks are there too, and maybe they'll enjoy the experience of watching us upset BYU and want to come back and cheer on the Pirates.
No doubt. And Kenneth said, "Remember the Big 12 turned us down. Let them never forget it." And that's the thing. Well, you know how we get in the Big 12 or any other conference? Sellouts, winning ball games. We're doing a good job on fundraising with our different facilities. We'll keep working on that. And again, guys, I will say this: if you get a chance, check out that premium tailgate area that used to be Scales Fieldhouse. I have to give, as I said, the administration, I give them props. You'll see that again on Saturday. Let's see. Oh, here's one from Robert. Robert says 2 free beers per ticket to get people in from the tailgate. Maybe so.
Hey,
what do you think, Johnny?
I was just going to say we had 38,835 people on a perfect 71-degree October day in 2017.
Yeah, and that was to watch 2 really bad football teams. Really bad football teams.
So to set your sights on 45. Yeah, I agree, Kyle. That's
way too low.
Yeah,
because you have a BYU team that is a fringe top 25 team. They won 12 games last year from the Big 12. So their fans that are in the area should be excited. We're 2-1. We just shut out Coastal. Our only loss is to NC State, and it was a 1-score game. So and you know what? Just because our administration said publicly they're expecting 45,000, that doesn't mean that that's what we're going to get. And I'm expecting a sellout, and I think anything less than near a sellout would be a little disappointing.
I agree. Hey, you mentioned NC State. I found myself in a weird situation Thursday night. I normally I would have rooted for Wake in that game, but I was rooting for the Wolfpack because they're knocking on the door of the top 25. And so as much as it pains me to say it, if they could get into the top 25 and our own down the road, say we rip off 3 more victories and we're 5-1 and our only loss to a top 25 team, that's not a bad look.
By the way, Philip's got a good point here. Let's see. We should be looking for a sellout every home game. We need to stop with us 40,000, 45,000. No, we see 50,000. That we should be looking for every home game. And I had friends that sometimes come to games that all they want to do is tailgate, and I make them go inside. I just think that's stupid. You're not going to sit out here with the whole game. This is the reason why y'all came. Y'all were going in.
I think wanting to sell out every game is a nice thing to want for, but I think that's probably a little unrealistic. almost for anybody unless you're Alabama or Tennessee. But I'd like to see us, and winning is going to do that. Last year was an 8-win season. If we do that again this year, the attendance will start ticking back up. And it's not like it's fallen off to the point where it's horrible.
Right.
We're still one of the best attended schools in the group of 5. But for the BYU game, it should be a sellout with the situation we're in right now. 2-1, just shutting out Coastal. BYU being who they are and what they are. This game should be a sellout.
And Kenneth has a great point. With the changes in scheduling philosophy in the future, we aren't going to have as many opportunities to beat a Power 4 team in Dowdy-Ficklen. This is huge. And that's another reason.
Yeah.
That's another reason to sell out. That's another reason to get really, really rowdy and dowdy, is that we need to win this game, because we win this game. And they say, well, why should we come to Greenville? Because we're beating you. We beat you there. We beat you here.
I
mean, I'm just saying that we could get to them.
Dave, remind me to never take you into negotiations. Oh, good God. You should come to Greenville because we beat you here. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's the angle we should take.
I'm just talking about we're hanging with them. We're competitive.
Yeah, you get more Power 4 schools to come here. One, you got to have the right administration that can make it happen. 2, winning does help, because if you're going to play a group of 5 school, if you're going to get upset, you want to get upset by a good team, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But I think going forward, it's going to, and it's not totally the fault of Gilbert. I think it's harder and harder to schedule Power 4 schools. You look at what just happened with Virginia Tech. They just canceled the rest of their series with ODU, and ODU had one more shot with Virginia Tech, and they took advantage of it. So I think getting home and homes with Power 4 schools is becoming more and more difficult. Gilbert doesn't like 2-for-1s. I have no problem with 2-for-1s under the guise of game number 1 is in Greenville. If we're going to give you a 2-for-1, then the first one needs to be in Greenville. Or if game number 2 is in Greenville, it can't be the last game of the series. Right. It's got to be game 1 or game 2, and game 2's got to be soon after game 1. But I know Gilbert's totally against 2-for-1s. I think going forward, that's really going to be the only opportunity to get Power 4 schools to come here, is to do 2-for-1s.
Well, and not only that, but you could do, like you said before, Kyle, I'll take your words, is you do a home, you do the away, and you have a neutral site that's like a Charlotte or a big.
If schools are interested in that, yeah, I think, I don't know. I'm thinking of like maybe UVA, or since Virginia Tech obviously isn't playing us anytime soon. Use UVA as an example.
They don't have a coach, right? So
no, not right now. Well, they have the interim head coach, Philip Montgomery. But let's say UVA. Let's say we played 1 in Greenville, 1 in Charlotte. Excuse me, 1 in Greenville, 1 in Charlottesville, and then 1 up in DC. Something like that. If they would be willing to do that, that would be great. Yeah.
And so that's my thing, is that the 2-for-1 is, back when we were in the 90s, maybe 2000s, that was not a good idea. But right now that's what we're going to have to, you're right on the money, that things are evolving, changing. So we also need to get the state.
You make that buyout too. If you do that 2-for-1,
yeah,
you make that buyout. If they try to buy it out, you make it where, hey, all right, well, it got bought out, but you just gave us $4 million.
Yeah, something ridiculous. But yeah, how about this? This is a team. Well, let's. Kenneth says 2-for-1: Kansas, Oklahoma State, or Baylor. Vanderbilt 2 for. Speaking of which, Vanderbilt.
I heard Vandy told us no. That we actually talked to them about a bye game, and they told us no.
Wow. And here's another one. Put Southern Miss back and Marshall back on the schedule. Thank you, Philip. There's a lot of, there's 132 FBS opponents, not FCS, FB as in boy, S. And that's my problem with administration. If you do some of the bigger schools, you do the 2-for-1s. But there's a lot of schools that are group of 5 and P4 that you can do the home and home. You just have to know, even if it's Maction with the MAC conference. There's other schools, and we talked about the Sun
Well,
Belt.
you just said you didn't want to do a home and home with Coastal.
I'm just not happy with them. And
I mean, you take things too personal. I don't know. Did somebody kick you in the nuts at the baseball game?
no, tell him, Johnny, it was not the usual.
Well, see, my perspective is from another baseball game. Is at Greenville Regional when their fans were super obnoxious, and Josh O'Neill and myself had to restrain one of the players' fathers from.
I think you have a very, very passionate fan base for baseball, and it's small. Baseball's relatively.
They were
small
vile, though, Kyle. They were unnecessarily vile on our turf.
Didn't run into any of that in football, so
That's good. Hey, maybe the fan. That was 22. That was many years ago. So I'll give them another chance.
Well, it's their baseball fan base. They're much more passionate than football, clearly.
Because
they're big. But let's go to the football with the light on the screen for the field. To me, they're not honorable. They're like.
How about
the store?
Who is allowing them to put the light on the screen? If the rule is there, take advantage of it. Until they ban that, it should be banned. First of all, let me make that very clear. It should be banned. But until they ban it, we should start doing it. Take every advantage you can get. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Oh, here you go, Kyle. McLean Anderson, they were super obnoxious at Coastal yesterday. I walked through the student area. It was brutal.
Well, it's the student area. It's the student area.
Kenneth said would play against one Pac-12, Sunbelt, and MAC school. That's what I'm saying. You can rotate this, but the problem
you're going to play one Pac-12, Sunbelt, or MAC school, then you're going to play 3 road games every year, my friend. You're going to play 3 road games every year. I'm sorry, but this is not 2005. I do think we can do a better job of scheduling to get Power 4 teams in here. But let's be real. Let's get out of this delusional bullshit that we're going to play Alabama, LSU, and USC every year. The model should be 2-1-1. 2 Power 5s, 1 Group of 5, 1 FCS. And you could even do two Group of 5s and 1 Power 5, 1 FCS if one of the Group of 5s is somebody like Boise. But this whole notion that we're going to do 1 Group of 5 game a year, you're gonna play 3 road games.
we're not talking about no. We're not talking about Murderers Row or 3-bye games or anything like that. We're not talking about that. But
Dave, you're not going to get home and homes with Illinois. You're not going to get home and homes with Vanderbilt. You're not going to get home and home with Northwestern, for example. It's just not going to happen now. Now, you can get some 2-for-1s. You can get some 2-for-1s, but RAD doesn't want to do that.
But we have.
Thankfully, he won't be here too much longer.
My point is this: if you know how to schedule, and I'm challenging the administration on this, and if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. There's 132 schools. We're not talking about the Alabamas of the world. That's fine to do a bye game every once in a while.
There's actually about 136 FBS teams now.
That's I was told 132. So I'll look back over that. But anyway, so regardless, 136. There you go. There's 4 more teams you can play. So let's play home, and you can get home and homes. There's home and homes all the time. It's just you can't. The bye games are very easy because those people are going to get us to come there. The FCS schools are easy because they want to buy a game from us. But the home and home is a big deal. I don't mind. I'll have a conversation with John Gilbert. I don't have a problem with it because I give a lot of money. Trust me. I've given a lot. I'm not going to say the amount.
Well, when are we going to extend the App State series? The App State series is sitting out there. I don't know why that has not been extended. I'd love to know the answer to that.
Example for a season could be NC State, Campbell, UNLV, and Southern Miss.
Sure. I mean, that's great. I would argue, and the administration would argue, what are you benefiting by traveling to UNLV and Hattiesburg when I love Southern Miss? Don't get me wrong. From a personal aspect, I'd love to see Southern Miss back on the schedule. But Sunbelt School's a Sunbelt School. Why in the world are we going to travel to Hattiesburg? I'd like to see that back on the schedule at least every few years just for personal reasons, but that's going to be their argument. Marshall is somebody that, I don't know why the remainder of that series was
West
canceled.
Virginia.
I hope Marshall comes back on the schedule. I'll tell you this: 2030 is going to be the 60th anniversary of the plane crash. So I don't know what our schedule and what Marshall's schedule looks like for 2030. We didn't get to do the 50th anniversary week 0 game back in 2020. I don't know if people even remember that.
Yeah.
We were going to play them week 0, 50th anniversary game and COVID screwed that up. So why aren't we getting that, back on the schedule for the for the 60th anniversary for 2030?
And Virginia Tech is falling on hard times, and that's another one. Justin has Liberty. I don't have a problem with those games. What I'm just simply saying is that we need to have more of those FBS schools on the schedule, and more than just. I'm not in just for the South, regional, more than just regional games. Throw in, like we talked about, throw in. There's other schools that we could throw in there every once in a while. That again, West Virginia is a great school. I understand about the whole P4 thing, but South Carolina, we've had them on the schedule. We used to have Syracuse on the schedule, Pitt on the schedule. We obviously have Temple because they're in our conference. But anyway, let's see. McLean says Norfolk State at South Carolina at Old Dominion I guess that's the schedule.
Is that 2030 you're telling me? Okay, so we have an opening for 2030. So let's get Marshall in here. I guess that's the 2030 schedule. So we're at South Carolina at Old Dominion, Norfolk State here. So that means we need a home game.
Yeah.
So let's do a home and home with Marshall if they have it open, and let's get them in here for 2030 for the 60th anniversary of that plane crash.
There you go. See, our fans are the best. And again, I didn't mean to take up all this time on the scheduling. However, I do believe if that's how we're going to grow as a university, it's win the football games. We need the people to be in the stands. We need to give more, which there are a lot of us that I'm preaching the choir on that. Robert Dedrick said UCF looking for East Coast game.
What about Oklahoma? They've played at Tulane. Yeah. They played at Temple. The Tulane game actually was rescheduled because of the hurricane, but Temple was rolling pretty well until Oklahoma came to town. They probably wish they wouldn't have scheduled them because I watched that game just to check out Temple, and the line size and speed was just so different that Temple didn't have a chance.
Yeah, Temple concerned me, and who knows, we may go up there and get upset in Philadelphia in October. But you looked at Temple week 1 against UMass against another FBS opponent, and Temple blew them out, and then they blew out their FCS opponent the next week. So you were a little worried about Temple until you saw the very next week UMass get beat by Bryant. So I don't know how improved Temple is. I do think they're improved over last year. I don't know that they're improved as much as we might have thought they were initially. They got a tough slate. I remember looking at their schedule, JR, and they had Oklahoma, and then it just, I swear to God, I think they have a murderer's row schedule all the way up to when they play us, if I remember right. I'd have to go look at their schedule, or if somebody else can bring it up real fast. But I think Temple's got a very tough schedule starting this past week with Oklahoma.
Wow. Anything after that game is going to be easier than what they had. Oklahoma, I'm sorry, Dave, I was just going to make this point real quick. Ben Arbuckle, their offensive coordinator, man, they already were good on defense, but with the offense, the way it looks now with him running it, they're scary. But I've heard that Oklahoma State's going to try to steal him as their head coach next season. We'll see what happens, but they look good.
So Temple's schedule, Oklahoma yesterday. They got Georgia Tech next, followed by UTSA, followed by Navy. But then it does get easier. They got Charlotte and Tulsa before us. So unfortunately, they may get hot before they play us. I don't really like to see that. Charlotte and Tulsa right before us. But tough stretch coming up: Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, UTSA, and Navy. Before things get a little easier for the Temple Owls at Charlotte and then Tulsa before they play the Pirates.
Yeah, guys.
That game's in October. That's actually November 1st.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have we've talked about this ad nauseum, but with the stretch Kyle and I were talking about coming up, when you have BYU, we're certainly not overlooking that. Then you have the Thursday night game, a quick turnaround for a Thursday night game. You have Army, of all people.
Yep.
Those two games,
Then you're at Tulane.
at Tulane.
Yeah, that's a tough 3-game stretch. That's a brutal 3-game stretch. So you got BYU this weekend. Obviously, we know what they are, Big 12 team, preseason top 25, 12-win team last year. After that, you got Army on a Thursday night, like you mentioned, Dave. So short week to prepare for the defending conference champions. They run the triple option, who upset Kansas State after getting upset themselves. And then you follow that up with Tulane, who's already beaten Northwestern and Duke.
Yeah.
So this is a brutal 3-game stretch that, I don't know what's going to happen over these next 3 games. These next 3 games will determine if we're going to be good, mediocre, or great. And God forbid, somebody like Hauser or somebody doesn't get injured, it turns bad. But, if you go at 3-0 these next 3, highly unlikely, then good God, sky's the limits. You go 2-1, you really, really feel great about things. 1-2, I still think we're going to have a nice season. You go 0-3 these next 3 weeks, then you're fighting for 6-6 in a bowl game.
Well,
And the season can turn that quick because these next 3 games are brutal.
That's true. But one good thing that we do have going for us is that we do have 2 weeks to prepare for Tulane. So we have a bye week in there, October the 2nd, if you're talking about Thursday games. And then October 9th is when we travel there. So that does help. I'm not discounting the Tulane at all. Having BYU and Army back to back, but I'm pretty confident they've been working on Army all summer long, probably spring in the spring practices as well. You never.
Yeah, but I've heard that song and dance so many times when we played Navy that we've worked on them since the spring. One thing we are really good against the run, and God knows we BYU's first and foremost, but we are really good against the run. That doesn't always translate to a triple option, but I like the way we pursue to the ball. I think we'll play the triple option really well.
Yeah, I agree, Kyle. And I know you're happy that it's Military Appreciation Day, and
Oh,
we
absolutely.
love our veterans, but
it makes perfect freaking sense. Let me tell you something. We should we have a Military Appreciation Day? Abso-friggin-lutely.
yep.
Should it be when we're playing a military academy? Abso-friggin-lutely not.
Makes no
Now,
sense.
I will say this a little bit with Army. And here's why. It changed the atmosphere so much. Everybody's patriotic, and we're playing Army. I will say this, though. I say we do this. I'm going to ask the university to be a little smart here. Let's don't give tickets to Fort Bragg. Let's leave the boys in Fayetteville alone. Let's give these tickets to Semper Fi, baby. Let's give these tickets to these Marines down at Lejeune and Cherry Point, and maybe to some of the Air Force guys over at Seymour Johnson, because I know Marines, they love the Army. That's their favorite. So why don't we get some military appreciation on our side and bring about 4 or 5 busloads of Marines up here, give them some purple and gold, and go and have them cheer against Army.
Holy cow, man! Holy cow! That's all I can say.
That's what I said before. If there's an advantage you can find, take it.
No,
And if we're going to be as stupid to do Military Appreciation Day when you're playing an academy, let's appreciate them Marines.
Let's see. By the way, B Pays, I put that up here again. Speaking of scheduling, what's up, B Pays? Rutgers needs some out of conference starting in 29. That would be a great trip. I would like to go to Rutgers, and I know we would have Matt.
Let's give it 2 for 1 with Rutgers. Let's do it. I'd be perfectly fine with that. 2 in Piscataway, 1 in Greenville.
Yep, and then we have Kenneth's talking about the season. He feels good about FAU, Tulsa, Temple, Charlotte. We should hopefully take care of business. That will get us to 6 wins. And then what's up, Kenny? 2-1. First win, we get a shutout. We have a chance to beat a Big 12 team this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kenneth says he lives in Fayetteville, and the game is anticipated. Lots of Army West Point stickers.
Yeah, see, that's what I don't freaking stand. Why would we create that kind of environment for, a military appreciation day when Army's coming to town? It doesn't make any sense. And I still say when we appreciate the military, doesn't mean we have to show the appreciation to the folks at Fort Bragg. Yeah,
I've got an idea.
let's appreciate them boys down at Camp Lejeune.
I got an idea. How about if you're a pirate and you're a veteran, you get a ticket, or like people that are overseas and maybe they can't come, maybe they're back for a while, or something. Give a discounted ticket for a veteran that's an ECU fan. That honors America.
How about this? How about we move Military Appreciation Day to the Tulsa game?
Sounds good to me.
Then all those military folks would be here cheering for the Pirates.
Right.
And you might get some of them to come back. These folks are living away from home, and you try to make them Pirate fans.
Absolutely. Hey, Kyle and I, when it comes to East Carolina, sometimes disagree, but we agree on that one. You don't want to make it a bowl-like atmosphere or a whole bunch of people pulling against you, especially if you're trying to sell out the crowd and you want to make it an ECU. And Kenny, once again, like I was saying, play Syracuse again. Exactly. We have natural rivalries with these folks. And look, if I have to go to 2-1 out of Syracuse, maybe when not, hey, Johnny, maybe not when it's in December, or November, rather. November, I mean. We probably wouldn't be playing them in November anyway because.
Well, what you really need to do if you want a Power 4 opponent, Syracuse really doesn't have any reason to play us anymore. They get all the exposure they want down here. They're in the ACC now. So what you need to look for is who wants to come to North Carolina, who recruits this area, who would benefit from coming to North Carolina. That's what I would look for when trying to schedule a Power 4 opponent. I don't know what the answer to that is. I don't know who that would be, but that's probably what I would be looking at. Who would benefit from BYU? One of the reasons when they were an independent that they scheduled us and kept us on the schedule. They dropped a lot of people from their schedule when they joined the Big 12, and they kept us on their schedule. And one of the reasons was because there's a pretty as the East Coast goes, there's a high Mormon ratio here in North Carolina. So BYU might be somebody that wants to extend the series with us. Maybe not immediately, but maybe we can get them back on the schedule in the 2030s. So I would look at who would want to come, who would have a reason to want to come to Eastern North Carolina is something we need to be looking at when trying to schedule Power 4 opponents. And I really don't know that Syracuse has much reason to play us anymore.
Maryland.
Rutgers, on the other hand, may very well.
Well, there's a lot of
also the head coach of Rutgers' head football coach is his what's his damn name?
Greg Schiano.
Schiano. His wife is a Pirate.
That's correct. Jay mentions Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland would be another one that may have reason to want to come here, and not good relationships with many ACC schools anymore. So that's another one you might want to approach about a 2-for-1. So Rutgers and Maryland, to me, both make sense to talk to. Now, whether they'd say yes or not, who knows? But they're definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about Greenville? You play one in Maryland, there on campus, and then one at the new Redskins Stadium in 20.
No, they're not going to. They're not. I mean, they're the Big Ten. They got more money than Jesus. If we get a 2-for-1 out of them, they come here one time. We go there twice. Be happy.
But whatever we have to do to get our program, we are. And look, again, my point I was trying to make earlier, we're a national program. Let's act national. And as a matter of fact, there was an NFL game, and they had a commercial. One of my favorite sayings that Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right.
Well, somebody mentioned UCF earlier, and we had a rivalry with UCF at one point.
Yep.
Is that something that do they have reason to want to come to North Carolina? Would they want to play us? I don't know that I could. I don't know that I could swallow my pride to do a 2-for-1 with UCF. That's going to have to be a home and home.
No, I agree 1,000% on that. But we're going to have to. What it comes down to is winning a whole bunch of games. Getting in that playoff, I think that's when more people will start looking our way. And not only that, but Johnny, I'll say this too: if you're an East Carolina football fan, please become a huge basketball fan. That's how we get to a bigger if you want a bigger conference, our basketball's got to improve.
Speaking of that, we got some basketball news we can talk about when we'll talk a little bit more about the game from yesterday, and we're going to get out of here. But a little basketball news. If it was missed, we posted on our social media the Fort Myers tip-off. We're going to be playing the Tuesday Thanksgiving week against Michigan State. That's going to be on FS2. I can't remember the tip-off time for that. But then we will be taking on St. Bonaventure on Thanksgiving Day at lunchtime on FS1, which is kind of neat to be eating Thanksgiving dinner, and if you do it at lunchtime, and having the ECU basketball game on. I kind of like that. So so little basketball tidbit for everybody.
No doubt, and but basketball is something we're gonna have to work on. But we'll save that for another time. Just overall with the game, and then what were your thoughts overall with the game? Some bright spots. I thought was really happy, guys. One of the highlights for me, the storyline, Yannick Smith getting 2 touchdowns. I thought that was huge for him yesterday.
Yeah, Smith and Smith both had incredible games. Anthony had, I think, his most receptions in a game. Yannick with a couple touchdown receptions. So that was, big for them. Again, we've talked about it earlier. The defense obviously played phenomenally. JR, who stuck out on you? We thought about the defense as a whole. Give me 2 players on defense that stuck out to you.
Well, Jamarly Riddle, number 1.
Yep.
And I thought that maybe Sam Danka might have had his best game of the year.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 that I would say. But, the thing from yesterday, they never entered the red zone. I mean, Coastal never was in the red zone. I mean, that's a good defense right there. I don't care how bad their offense is. I mean, you can hold a team out of the red zone for the entire game. That's pretty strong. And then turnovers, we were negative the last 2 years. Well, first of all, let's go back to when Holton was here, 19, 20, 21, and 22. We were plus turnovers every one of those seasons. 23, -8, 24, -9, and we're already +7. So I love that. I mean, we had a turnover ourselves, but we created some. So, I mean, that's I think key to a successful season is taking care of the ball and creating turnovers on the other side. And then in the fourth quarter, we've outscored our opponents 38-0. So nobody has scored on us in the fourth quarter. And in the last 9 quarters, starting from the fourth quarter of NC State, we've outscored our opponents 104-3. So, I mean, we're on a roll.
Yeah, we need to keep it rolling. We need to keep it rolling. And Tall House this week, I said it in a text earlier to someone. I'll say this for sure about this defense. I don't know how good this defense is. I think it's pretty good. I think we'll have an idea after BYU just how good this defense is. But I'll say this: Blake Harrell and Josh Aldridge, I believe, are getting the most out of the talent they have. Nobody thought this defense to date through 3 games was going to be as good as it has been so far this year. Now, like I say, with the exception of NC State, the last 2 teams have not been good offenses. So we're good on defense, but just how good are we? I think we'll know that a lot more after the BYU game.
Yeah, well, how about the fact that hey, Johnny, here's a stat for you. Very easy one, low-hanging fruit for me. But if you add the 3 games up, we're only giving up 9 points a game. How about that? 3 in the last 2 games. But if you add the state score and the last 2 games, only 9 points a game. I don't think any of us, even the coaches, I don't think would have been able to tell you after 3 games we'd be averaging 9 points a game.
Just to add to that, Dave, we've held NC State to their lowest point production of the season, 24.
Yep. Yeah, we held that the other day.
Yeah, we held Campbell to their lowest point total of the season, and of course we shut out Coastal, so that was their lowest points. And we've also done that to their rushers. We allowed 105 against NC State on the ground. They had double that against both Virginia and Wake Forest. We held Campbell to 4 yards. And then we held, Coastal to 67, and UVA allowed 91. So, I mean, rushing-wise, you just couldn't ask for much more.
If this continues, and I hope to God it does, I hope the defensive performance continues all year. How hard is it going to be to hold on to Josh Aldridge? Last year everybody was worried about hanging on to JDB, and hopefully that's still a concern at the end of this year because hopefully the offense has lightened it up too. But I really look at what Josh Aldridge had to work with, at least on paper, And I go back to what I just said. I think him and Blake are getting the most. I don't know how good this defense is going to end up being when all is said and done, but to date, they are getting the most they can out of the talent they have.
Hey guys, how about this? A bold statement here.
Ooh.
From Jonathan. He says, NC State is better than BYU. We have a real shot to win the game.
NC State is better than BYU on offense. I don't think they're better than BYU on defense. And that's where my concern lies is, are we going to be able to run the ball at all against their defensive front? That is my fear with this BYU game.
And can we can we protect Caton? That's the other thing.
Yes, yeah, and I do think we're okay at pass blocking. Run blocking, we've sucked so far. And so that's my concern. I think the defense will keep us in the game. I think we'll be able to make some plays in the passing game. I think if we're going to beat BYU, it is going to have to be a 21-20, 2017, 24-21 type ball game. That would be my guess. So I'll say this: when you shut somebody out, it gives you a lot of confidence on defense.
Yep.
So and when you're going to upset somebody, you've got to have a lot of confidence. That's one of the key things to pulling off an upset.
Yep.
Two ways you pull off an upset. You believe you can do it, and the other team takes you for granted. Now, I don't think BYU is going to take us for granted, because while they were an independent, they weren't in the Big 12 yet. We beat them out there, and it wasn't that long ago. Well, when they came here, that BYU team was historically bad. So I don't even count that.
I don't care. We still beat them.
We beat them, but I don't. And those players are gone, Dave. In 22 we played them out there, and the way those guys take mission trips, I guarantee you there's some players on that team that was on that 22 team, so they know who we are, and so I don't think they're going to take us for granted. So the point being, the fact that we just shut out Coastal, we will have a lot of confidence on defense, and that is a key to pulling off an upset. You have to play above you because you believe you can win, and I believe that defense right now probably thinks they can stop anybody.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I got to agree with you on this one, because, hey, maybe BYU wasn't so great in 2017.
Wasn't so great. They were the drizzling shits.
Okay, but we weren't very good either. So they're much better. We're much better. We still beat BYU. I mean, I think there's something to be said for the fact that they're not going to intimidate anybody by the name on their helmet.
No, that wasn't the point I was trying to make. My point was they're not going to take us for granted. And I don't think the 2017 game has any bearing on that. Well, the 22 game does, because of their mission. First of all, their head coach is very familiar with us. This is going to be the fourth time he's played. Or, no, that's not true. It's going to be the third time he's played. When Ruffin was there, they had what's his name? That's at Utah State now. But this, I guarantee you, if you look at this roster, well, I haven't done it yet, but I'd put money on it. With the way these guys leave for mission trips and come back, yep, I guarantee you there's some players from that 22 team that's on that roster.
Yeah, I believe we'll talk about, by the way, don't forget on Wednesday night, we have our preview. We'll take a look, even more in-depth look against BYU. We'll have more time to study the tape, as they say, and certainly with BYU, I think he was up. Yeah, thank you, McLean. Bronco Mendenhall, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I could not think of his name, but yeah, Bronco's out at Utah State now after his brief retirement and then 1 year at New Mexico.
Kenneth said, I've seen a lot of fans asking why they didn't cancel this game. Now that they are in the Big 12, they're flabbergasted. They have to play a road game at a group of five school, short memory in Provo. Well,
I think I answered that question as to why. There's of all the East Coast states, North Carolina has a relatively high Mormon population, and I believe that's why this was one of the games they chose to cancel or keep, rather, because they canceled a lot of games when they joined the Big 12. But out of necessity, they had to.
Yeah, they did, because they were independent scheduling 12 games. So, but for me personally, and
by the way, we should not dismiss BYU at all for that. They could have canceled this game.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
good on them for coming here, and it's going to help provide us with I would say a sellout, but apparently 45,000 fans. And, so hats off to BYU for keeping that contract and for coming here. It's going to be a big deal to have somebody with that Big 12 logo. And look, BYU had a pedigree. BYU was, now they're in the Big 12, it's an even bigger deal. But BYU,
Won a national.
they won a national championship in '84. I mean, they have been a name brand for a long time.
No doubt. We need to keep that. We need to keep that up. Hey, you were talking about schedules really quick, and then we'll move on. Next year, we're at Alabama, Appalachian State, at Old Dominion, and Central. That's our non-conference.
Yeah, I hate that we play Alabama right before we play App. I cannot stand that. That bugs me.
Well,
hey, I saw Kenny put he said screen game could work against BYU and tight ends. I was just going to say one of my favorite things I saw last night was DeCirio Riles in action again. You never know with an injury whether it's going to be lingering, but he caught a pass, so I'm glad he's back in the fold again, because I was a little worried about him.
What I would do, I do think the screen game will be big against BYU, or could be. I would also take deep shots on them, and I don't even care if we connect on them. If we connect on them is a bonus. I think you got to take deep shots on them to open up some run lanes. We got to have some, unless we're just going to come out and go full air raid. You got to create some sort of running game, and I think some early shots early and often could kind of open up some run lanes.
No doubt. By the way, Pace says they rented a huge area for a tailgate, that being BYU. So
okay, so I guess they are planning on bringing some folks from the Mormon churches again. I know last time the Mormon church here in Kinston, honestly, the Mormon church here in Kinston had a Eastern North Carolina pig picking for BYU. They hosted them when they got in town. I want to say they got in town on a Thursday instead of Friday, so they could do that. And they had a traditional Eastern North Carolina pig picking for them here in Kinston. So I don't know what the plans are this time for the LDS churches in BYU, but help us sell it out, guys. If you got Mormon friends out there, if you know people that are Mormon, encourage them to come this weekend and help us sell this thing out.
No doubt. And there it is. Charles Boulevard. It's going to be on Charles. Sam Jones is catering.
There you go.
I'm going to guess that a BYU tailgate is going to be
Sam Jones.
A little bit different than a Pirate tailgate.
BYU is working on. They're already a national brand. They've been about, as Kyle was talking about. When you think about all the people,
Lavelle Edwards and all the great players that have played at BYU under Lavelle Edwards. They won a national championship in '84, and they left the Mountain West because of that Group of Five or non-BCS tag at the time, and went independent so they could try to be like Notre Dame, and it worked to their advantage. They ended up in the Big 12. So, yeah, working on being a national brand. They already are a national brand. So they just now have that Power 4 tag to go with it.
I did an interview with a Super Bowl champ, Jim McMahon, that played as quarterback for BYU. So BYU has a lot there. Let's see. If BYU loses to us, it'll worsen the narrative for their conference with national perception. Already shaky to begin with how bad the Big 12 has looked out of conference. They've looked awful. You're right about that. The whole Oklahoma State Oregon game was dreadful. In fact, that was the worst loss they had since what was that, Johnny? 1907, 9, somewhere around there. It's like 6 weeks before Oklahoma was becoming a state.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this too about this BYU game. If we do pull off the upset, I encourage. I want to see it. I encourage the students rush the field, rush the friggin' field. We hadn't rushed the field since 2009.
Yeah, that's true.
2009, we won the conference championship against Houston, and it wasn't even a true field rush. He invited everybody on the field. So the last time we had a true field rush was 2008. So yeah, if we get this win over BYU Saturday night, which is a big if, and don't look, let these kids have fun. If we beat them and the students rush the field, my fat ass is going to waddle out there too.
Kyle's going to be. Hey, Johnny. Kyle's going to be on the goal.
I will give you your pencil roll.
Pencil roll.
If we upset BYU, I will give you at least one pencil roll if we upset BYU.
I want to see that. I definitely want to see that.
I bet you do.
I'll film it.
I bet you do.
Johnny's going to film it.
All right, well.
Pace says the line is moving a little bit. Yeah, we talked about.
Yeah, it opened. It moves quite a bit actually. Pace. DraftKings had it at 9.5 at 12 o'clock, and it has moved between 6.5 and 7. So a lot of people put money on the Pirates early, which I don't know if I like that or not.
I like it. I tell you what, whatever the line is, take the points. I don't think this is going to be. I've said this a lot. I think it's going to be a very tight game. We'll talk about our preview on Wednesday and give it, but. West Virginia and Kansas State have looked awful. You're right, Kenneth. Wait. West Virginia got upset by the defending MAC champions, Ohio, in a very close game at Ohio, and then turn around and beat Pittsburgh this past weekend. So I don't know that West Virginia looked awful. Yeah, well, they in fact they had the brawl. That was a great. Let's talk about that really quick. A lot of great games yesterday, guys. A lot of great games, upsets. Unfortunately, people were talking about. It was kind of funny today on the college football final. They kind of made a reference to about USF. Oh yeah, nice story, but Miami's a very good football team, and we knew that was going to be a. And that's scheduling too difficult. You already beat you. And granted, these schedules are done way in advance. You don't know what you're going to be having, but you already beat Boise. You already beat Florida. You've done all you needed to do. Just go take care of business in conference. You're in the playoffs. Now they're still in a situation to do that. That Miami game's not going to keep them from making the playoffs if they run the table in the American, but they already got one loss. So let's say they stub their toe in the American. Does 10-2 get them in? I think it still could because they got the head-to-head win over Boise. But you got to put UNLV into that mix. Tulane is going to have say in it. So that Miami game, if it stands on its own, it doesn't hurt them. But now you've got less wiggle room in conference. But South Florida is still a good story. It's still. It doesn't take away from what they've done to start the season. No, that Miami team, good chance they're going to win the ACC. And when they have a shot at winning the national championship, I don't think they will, but they should be in the conversation. Sean says he's calling a 24-21 Pirate win over BYU.
Hey, that's Wednesday. We got to save that.
Yep. Tulane is an interesting one, no doubt. And by the way, we have 4 American teams undefeated. So everybody that talks about Group of 5 and American. Tulane is looking really, really good right now. Navy undefeated. Who am I leaving out, guys? I know
South Florida, North Texas.
North Texas. They're scary to me.
Not undefeated anymore.
Well, we don't play them.
No,
we don't play North Texas. So they can be as scary as they want to be. Hey, look, I'll tell you this, JR. Washington State's bad, and yeah. I think because people still associate, they're not even a power conference team anymore.
But here's the thing, Kyle. I'm just going on their overall defensive numbers, what they've done in the first 3 games after they got Skylar Cassidy from Sam Houston. And we talked about it with Rennie when he was on the show.
Yeah.
And I said, North Texas, we know they're going to score some points, but can they stop anybody? Well, they're stopping people. So I just feel like, yeah, maybe they could help us out. Maybe they'll beat Tulane who knows? Maybe they'll help
Hopefully
us
we're
out,
in position that we needed to be helping out. That'd be great. That later on down the schedule that we're looking at trying to play in that conference championship game. But no, North Texas is good. I think this league, not only those 4 teams, us and Memphis are also both really good. So Army's good. This league has a lot of depth.
Memphis is the one I was mentioning out. Yeah, thank you, Robert. Memphis is 3-0 right now, so they're good. And North has to go to USF.
Yeah, Navy had 3 turnovers yesterday, which is unusual for a Navy team. Horvath threw 2 picks. They need for him not to do that if they want to seriously challenge. So I don't know. Navy and Army, I think they're a bit off this season, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Johnny, question for you guys, for both of you actually. We forced 5 turnovers on, is that right, for Coastal, and we only had the interception, right, off the top of my head?
We had 2 interceptions.
2, okay.
Yeah.
I remember the one. Okay. So but my point is we're still the turnover ratio margin, we're still above,
Oh
right?
yeah, we're
Plus
still,
7. We're plus
plus
7.
Yeah, I was thinking we were. Okay, so with that being said, with the total number of points we're giving up being 9 points a game, and then you have we'll look that up, but as far as that's concerned, with the turnover ratio margin, that should be, what is that, a top 50, top 30?
Oh, absolutely. Turnover margin? Yes.
Yeah.
After 3 games, yeah, that's more than plus 2 a game. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's something I wanted to bring up, and we hadn't so far. Last call on any comments, questions, and we've gone a little bit long tonight, but
I was going to mention another thing we're in the top 10 in is tackles for loss. We have 28 tackles
That's
for loss.
impressive. That's a very impressive.
Wow.
And hopefully, I don't know. BYU's probably got a pretty good offensive line, but freshman quarterback, this is going to be his first road game. First 2 games were at home, Portland State and Stanford. So this is going to be his first road game. So hopefully we can get some pressure on him. I'm sure their line's really good. I'm sure they can pass block, but we need to get as much heat on that kid as possible.
B-Pace said he rewatched the game where our running backs are missing holes. That's something I was going to ask about earlier in the show.
I noticed that last night. There was a couple of times where our running back took the wrong run lane, where he should have cut it in when he should have cut it out, should have cut it out when he should have cut it in. I noticed that last night too, Pace. I don't know what that's about, but that's something that you obviously show them film study and hopefully get that corrected.
Yeah. I'll tell you
And
what.
that could be going back to the running back rotation. Guys can't get in a freaking rhythm. You're playing too many running backs.
Yeah, well, maybe. My feeling is that 2 things. One is, has really anyone stood out? Marlon Gunn didn't have many carries last night, and then
I think he had 1.
Yeah,
one for no yards.
Lacey has started to stand out, but unfortunately he hurt himself.
Yeah.
But
and then what is it? Is it Englehart? Not Englehart. What is the guy that got the touchdown, the very last touchdown?
Ingles Grocery Store.
Help me out, guys. They're in the chat, but it's getting late. But
it's TJ.
There's been several backs, and I don't think it's a matter of
funny story. I'm sorry, Dave. I got to tell this real fast. Off topic, and then I'll let you talk, and we'll get the hell out of here. But so we're in Western North Carolina. We're coming back from Asheville in 2019, 2019, and was it 2019? Yeah, it had to be. So we're coming back from Asheville, November 2019, and
yeah. Did we lose you? Hello?
I think so.
Yeah. Engelman?
TJ Engelman with an E.
Yeah, Engelman. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
All right, so we got Kyle and Kyle.
Jesus Christ, like Simon and Simon. Okay, so we're coming back from Asheville, November 2019, and I don't know how, but Jessica wasn't familiar with the grocery store, Ingles, which was all over Western North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think I know where you're going with this. I thought about that.
So I don't remember what we had to get, but we needed to stop and get something. I don't know why we would have to stop at Ingles, what we would have needed that we couldn't have waited to get home to get. But we had to stop at a grocery store, and I can't remember. I might have been looking. You know what? I do know why. I was looking for cherry lemon sun drop. Anytime I'm in Western North Carolina, I always grab cherry lemon sun drop. So I told Jessica, I said, hey, stop there at that grocery store. She said, isn't that a Hispanic grocery store? Or are they going to have cherry lemon sun drop? I said, what? She said, Ingles.
I thought you were going for the Little House on the Prairie. I know they.
No. She thought it was the sheep.
I've never thought about that. That's funny.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my wife is an elementary school teacher and a proud East Carolina graduate. Thought Ingles was Ingles.
No doubt. Hey, here's another one we talked about. I want you guys' opinion, and we'll get out of here. B-Pace said he would put Mike Wright in the backfield every once in a while. We got to get Mike Wright on the field more, period. But I agree with Johnny. I think, Johnny, you said earlier, the beginning of this marathon of a show, but love you guys and love all the viewers and listeners. is the fact that maybe we're saving a whole bunch of wrinkles for BYU that we don't want to show.
Yeah.
That's my gut feeling.
Yeah, and I know playing quarterback, wide receiver, he's not playing running back, but you can't get a running back. You know, how often have we tried him at running back? Are we doing that? Are we doing that at, I don't know what we're doing at practice. I'm curious to know.
Wildcat.
I mean, just straight up running back. Line him up at running back. Vontavious Cooper, when he came in here, he was a quarterback.
Sure was, and he had a great 2 seasons for the Pirates. So we can definitely say great win against Coastal. Feeling very good about this program. The defense looking, and I'll say this: having the defense being so good so early, I think that the wrinkles and the different tweaks and the things we need to correct on the offense will take care of itself. I really do. So that makes me a lot happier. The key for me, guys, I've been thinking about this all day, is we just got to pray that we don't get a whole bunch of injuries on defense. Not that we want an offense, but that's the key for us for the season. We'll see how that. And then let's see. B-Pay says he's a patient runner, so that's why you'd want to put him back there. And then Kenneth says this will be the last one, guys. Kenneth says the kicker better be getting some good practices in. His accuracy may determine our success this weekend.
Well, we got 3 of them, Kenneth. We
Yeah.
got 3 of them. So I don't. It's going to be whoever's hottest this week in practice. And again, man, are we kicking? I don't know. Are we giving the kickers? I don't know how that works. Like reps, you only have so much time. Are we giving too many kickers too many reps? That's what's going on in special teams? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. That block kick was weird. So that kid had a big leg. He performed well at New Hampshire. But we got 2 other kids that have kicking experience here. So hopefully one of them will be on and be accurate Saturday night.
No doubt. Do you guys have anything before we get out of here?
Not a thing. We've said all that needs to be said.
All right. Well, guys, thank you, Johnny. Hope you feel better. Matt?
I feel fine.
Yeah, I had a great time, and maybe we can do something tomorrow. We'll see about that. We'll let you know about that.
You're getting Johnny and Stevie confused.
I think so. I feel fine, Dave. I just was in a car crash earlier in my office, but other than that,
I'm sorry. I said it is getting late. I'm sorry, Johnny. My apologies. Stevie, you get better. Johnny's doing well. We don't want you to be sick. So anyway, let's get out of here. We had a great time. Go Pirates. We'll see you next time, and we'll be here on Wednesday night.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.